Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you can see this. We're doing this from high altitude. I have individual reviews on most of these knives, or at least initial reviews and stuff. So this is just basically, I wanted to show you some examples of medium-sized hunting knives that, you know, have like a clip point. I had to narrow it down some way. So I kind of like clip point. My original thought was like a Bowie knife, something like this, you know, but it's not a big Bowie knife. It didn't join the classification of the big Bowies, and so we might as well start off with this one. This is a Marbles, and it's in horn handle here. And last time I saw it, they didn't have them available. Let me bring the camera down where I can see from a sitting position. I'll have to get that thing fixed. It makes all that noise when I move it. Alright, I like the leather, you know, I like the sheath right here. You gotta watch out saying leather, it may or may not be. This looks like some kind of leather. It's fairly well made though. And yeah, you got a pretty serviceable, you know, knife here. There's your number, MR448. If you want to go look it up. A lot of times, if you want to see if I've done an initial review on a video or something, you just go into the YouTube search thing, and you type in. Even I have to do this. There's no shortcut for me. I have to type in Williams Knife Life, and then if I usually put the model number in the description of the video or in the title, and so I'll type in that, and if it pops up, it pops up. If it doesn't, uh-oh. You know, I have to go to plan B or something. So that's one. This is pretty cool. Like I said, you can look those up. Also later on, adding cards to it, you know, with that specific video. It only lets you do so many cards. And you have to know the video number and all that crap. It's kind of a pain. Alright, so here's another good one right here. Sorry about all the bumps here. It's going to happen with these big knives. This is a Joker with genuine, you know, deer antler type of handle and everything. Sort of a clip point. This one's, you know, it's barely recognized as a clip point, but it is kind of a hunting knife, and it fits that category of a fixed blade hunting knife that wasn't in the big blade battle. But this is a Zorro. Well, not battle, but. And it's in that MOV 1.4116. That's the same thing that Victorinox uses in most of their knives. If you're wondering about that steel, it's a fairly good steel. It won't hold an edge forever, but you don't need them to hold an edge forever. You know, there's usually a limit. If you're hunting game, there's usually a limit on the number of deers you could shoot, you know, and gut and skin and everything in one day. And even if you're doing other stuff with your knives. Alright, now here's a case, stacked leather. Again, this one, it's barely, you know, it's got a clip point, but it, you know, it's getting more faint and everything, but I like the leather stack handles on it and everything. Would you focus? You please focus for planet Earth? No, it's not. It's not gonna do it. Quit that, you. I'm gonna have to make it focus. There is a manual focus on this. But yeah, these are great knives, and the reason why I like these kind of leather handled stack kind of knives is because this is the knife I used when I was a kid, and that's not the original sheath, but it's sufficient for what I do. See, it's kind of this one's kind of more of a bird and trout, and it doesn't really have that much of a clip, just kind of a faint one. But it's the leather stack handles. This is a K-bar. 1, 2, 3, 5, USA, USA. All right, we put that back in there. See, I got to form fit it a little bit, but it fits in pretty good. It's got a good friction fit. This was just a little aftermarket sheath. I think it was made in Mexico. Mexico, senor. All right, we'll button you up later. Get over there. You're in enough. All right, there's another Joker knife. It's an open top sheath here. And it's the Rui. Well, it just says stainless steel, so you have to look it up. But I think this one's like in 420. It's got a hollow grind and everything. A little jimping. Olive wood handle. You know, stainless steel. That noise that you hear outside is rain. I don't mind rain. We're having rain. It's not flooding rain this time, and I'm still on the second floor apartment, you know, so it's got to get pretty high for me to be concerned about rain. All right, here's another one. A Puma. Now this one, again, is another very nice knife here. Buoy knife kind of shape. German steel. What kind of steel? German steel. 15 RC. I don't know what that means. I don't think that's a Rockwell. It may be a different kind of scale of Rockwell. I don't know. SGB. That's Soligen German blade buoy. What does it say over here? Something about Puma. Puma 300? Let me look at that up closer. Oh, Puma SGB 300. It's just that, but then it's got the little Puma. Well, why don't you just zoom in? Oh, yeah, that's an idea. Yeah, well, it has an issue with focus when I zoom in. It's focusing back there on that sheath, even though this is right there in the center of its view. Yeah, all right, we've seen this one. Quit concentrating on it. I like the little brass guard. Now, the handle may be small for some people. Even for me, it could use a little bit more width right here and maybe a little bit more this way. But in its own way, it works because you can manipulate it around in your hand. You can squirrel around in your hand with it a lot quicker if you were to use it for like non-skinning purposes. All right, let's get over here. All right, now we're talking about a budget option here. I want to throw something in that's a budget option, and that, you know, is an Ontario. This one doesn't have the waffle pattern on it, and I think it's a second, yeah. But it's the, you know, the butcher knife. I think it's like 6 inches or so, but 6 or 7 inches. They make all different kind of sizes. I have that one that's like 14 inches. And I'll make a sheath for this eventually. You could just wrap duct tape around this, you know. It's not super strong. I'd get something like wood or something, or leather, canvas, and put some rivets on it. Anyway, that's a future project. That's a future project. All right, get back over here. I try not to let Danny the Dino's dialect jump in here too much. But that is, this is kind of like people talk like that in Texas. How y'all doing? Well, I'm doing all right. You ain't from around here, are you? No, I'm not. Well, that's all right, dearie. Everybody's got to be from somewhere. All right. I like this one because I've sharpened this, you know, to a very sharp false edge, sharpened false edge, or however you want to call it. Now, if you're gonna go batoning your knife, which I wouldn't recommend with this one, but anyways, if you're gonna go beating on your knife, you're not gonna like a sharpened swedge, and that's when you should get the other Ontario that now doesn't come with the false edge or sharpened swedge or whatever the correct terminology is for that. One cuts and the other one doesn't, and that one will cut. And I like that ability is because you can just flick. Like if you miss something, you can just flick and back cut with it. I was testing that on cardboard, and it was with the Ontario SP5, which it doesn't have a sharpened back edge, but just tapping it like that at cardboard, man, it leaves a dent. It cuts. It makes a hole. All right, we'll put you over there because you're getting in the way. I can't make these too long. All right, this is my like cold steel Bushman. Now you can get it in two styles, with the clip point or with the curb point. Clip point is more like, I don't need all that extra steel up there from curving it up, so this kind of saves a little bit of weight. And it would almost classify in a big belly buoy category, but anyway. What really helps this out is this bank line that I put on here, because it gives you a lot of gription. You can see that line that I ran it back. That all this really helps in it in your hand, because this other finish is like an epoxy type, a hard epoxy type, and it's kind of slick, you know. And you have the advantage of bank line. You can take this off, because if you're going to use this thing as a spear, you want to use that hole there to put a screw in. You know, something like one of those open eye, you know, like the hook and eye type of screws for a screen door. Just use the open eye in there, because then you can turn it by hand. But I don't have one of those, because I don't plan on using this as an improvised spear. And if I did, I just jam it out this way, because it can get wedged, you know, when you throw it in. The weight of the thing stopping all of a sudden, and then the wooden handle just driving forward, it'll jam it in there with one throw. But it comes with a little ferro rod and everything. It's pretty cool. I don't store a lot in the handle, but you could. You know, it's empty. You could store a little survival kit and all that, you know. So that's another cool option. That's inexpensive, too. That is inexpensive. It's usually less than $20. Here's another one that's inexpensive. Now, this one, like I said, kind of disappointed me, because I threw it and I messed up the tip. But then afterwards I realized it's still a good knife. It's still a good blade. How often are you going to be throwing your knife at crickets? You know, but anyways, it gives you a lot of length. It barely has a clip point. It's more of a swedge, you know. I mean, it's just like barely. But it still counts. And this one's inexpensive too. And it's the one that, it's a copy of, you know, the original one that was, you know, made, one that they designed to make the contract for this guy, which Camillus, you know, won the initial contract. But Marvel still made a lot of them. But this is what they designed it originally. This is what their idea was. And the original one, like Tobias and many others have said, the original jet pilot's knife was not 5 inches, it was 6 inches. And they found out that length in a jet cockpit, or even in any kind of other cockpit in a survival type situation, and that adds up. That length adds up underneath your armpit or on your leg, or, man, they are loaded down with gear, man. I'm telling you. And a jet fighter, you got a pressure suit on it too. It ain't just a normal flight suit. So you got a pressure suit, you got a parachute sometimes, and survival gear and web gear and radios. And then they also carry on their legs, a lot of times they'd have a flight suit that would have a place where you could set a tablet, so when you're sitting down normally, you could write on it and everything. Anyway, we're getting beyond things here, and you're just jabbing your mouth too much. So there you go. There's some hunting fixed blade, clip point kind of knives that are of a variety of price ranges. You're talking, you know, higher price range for these. The Joker, I believe, is less than the Puma, but you got that. And then if you're really on a budget, you got this. All it really comes down to is, yeah, this is a thinner blade, you know, but what are you doing with your knife? What are you doing with your knife? Are you cutting? This is what really matters right here, where the edge meets the flesh or the bone or the wood or whatever. A thicker knife, yeah, gives you more options, but depends on what you're doing. If you're cutting up some vegetables, then you don't want to go crazy with a thick knife. All right, shut up. You've already shown them everything. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.